Okay, so we are sculpting that foil armature for the base of your trophy, taxidermy trophy. And then I'm going to get the CelluClay out and break up all of the little hard clumps. I'm going to start adding just a little bit of water. You can see I don't add very much at a time, and I mix it with my hands. Mix a little, add some more, mix a little. You don't want to get too much water in there, it'll get really sticky. So just till it feels like clay, and then you can seal it and put it away, or we're going to start sculpting right away. So I'm taking that clay and I'm rolling it into little like gumball sizes and mushing that onto the foil armature. That's the base of my sculpture. It's going to support this clay. You can see that I'm putting the clay inside the mouth. My sculpture is going to have an open mouth, so I want to get those little bits of clay mushed inside the open mouth first before I do the outside. It's hard to get back in there once you put the clay on the outside, so I'm going to try to get all the stuff done on the inside before I move to doing the outside. And again, I'm rolling the clay in little balls in my hands and then mushing that onto the foil. The great thing about this clay is you don't need to slip or score. It just mushes right in there and stays there. So I'm adding to the outside of the mouth there now. And I can start shaping it a little bit more the way I want it in a bit. But right now I'm just trying to get that clay to adhere to the foil. So now I'm doing the inside of the top of the mouth and the edges to support it. Just rolling those little bits and then mushing them onto my armature. Making sure that I join it to the other pieces that are already there, just kind of smushing it around, smoothing it out as you go. I'm not really concerned at this point about the exact shape. So I can shape it some more after I get more of the clay put on there. So now I'm working on getting the clay to the outside of the top there and just rolling those little balls, gumball sizes, and smushing them on and then smoothing it out. This CelluClay can be stored if you don't get the whole thing built in one sitting. It should take you about 45 minutes, but if you don't get it done in one sitting, you can roll up your excess clay, put it back in the Ziploc bag, and put it in the refrigerator. You'll store it in the refrigerator for a couple of days, and then you can go back and start adding to your sculpture again if you need to. You can see I'm going around the outside on the bottom there, making sure I'm adding little bits of clay to make sure that my sculpture is secured to the foil as well as to the cardboard. This CelluClay will stick to anything. It'll stick to the foil, the cardboard, plastic. You can stick things into it, and once it's dry, those things will stay there. So I want to make sure that my piece is going to stay adhered to the cardboard plaque as the base. So I am going to go back around a couple of times to make sure that that's secured at the base. Then I'm shaping the mouth a little bit more, trying to get the shape that I want now, and adding the edges. So then I can start adding some details. I'm going to add some teeth. My little sculpture is going to have some fangs, top and bottom. So I'm adding those now. I'm making those right out of the clay. At this point, again, if you had other things that you wanted to add into yours, you could do it at this point. I'm going to add eyes up on top. So I tried to make two round balls that were about the same size. And I'm pressing my finger into the center of it there. If I had marbles, that's what I planned to put in there, but I didn't have any. If I had some, I could put them in right now, and they'll dry with the CelluClay right with sticking to the marbles. So I put bottom teeth in. I'm going to add top teeth again, just making those out of the CelluClay. Or if you have other things you want to make your teeth out of, and add them while the clay is wet. You don't have to worry about gluing anything. You can just add the things on while it's wet. Now I'm doing a little bit of smoothing, patching holes and smoothing things. This clay doesn't dry really super smooth. Be a little bit bumpy. You can go back in about 40 minutes after you make it to an hour after you make it and smooth some things out a little bit more if you need to. But if you really don't like the bumpiness after it's dry, you can take sandpaper on it and sand some areas down if you'd like. But my creature's a bumpy creature, so I'm going to leave him kind of bumpy. Putting some little teeth on the sides too. Sometimes they fall off if you don't get it just right, or if you knock into it before it's dry. Oh, there's one. So now I'm going to secure it a little bit better, but they'll dry right in there. And you'll see that all the little details I wanted are added on there. I'm going to try to get some of that clay off of my hands first before I go wash them. And the sculpture can just dry for 4 days.